Hi, I'm going to show you how to use ProScore Snooker Scoreboard software to score your billiards game. And this time, I'll be using this little keyring remote control for television. But I adopted it so that it can be used on my computer with ProScore Snooker Scoreboard software. So let's start the ProScore software. And instead of selecting the snooker scoreboard, I select the English Billiards Scoreboard. And I just enter, and I have the names of the players here. So I enter. So now we are ready to start the first frame. And to start the first frame with this remote control, I'll press the up arrow. So now the clock is started. And to switch the player, I'll press the enter key, which is the center button on the remote. So you see here, I'm switching the players. Now let's say this player scores some balls. So the only balls that would add points would be the yellow and the green, because there's 2 points and 3 points. So to add 2 points, I'll click the left arrow key.
2.
Again and again.
6.
And to add 3 points, I'll click the right arrow key.
9, 12, 15, 18, 20.
You see how I add the points, which is pretty simple. And when the break is finished, you switch to the next player.
2, 5, 7, 10.
So when the frame is finished, let's say there is a winner, I'll go to the winner's frame. I'll go to the winner's menu, which is the bottom button on a remote control. So I press that once, and it asks me to confirm the end of frame by pressing the green ball. So on this remote control here, that would be the 3 points button, which is the right arrow. So I press that once, and the scoreboard has been reset with 1 frame added to the winner of the previous frame. So this guy got 1 frame here, and now I'm ready to start the next frame. And to start the next frame, I'll start the clock again, so which is the up arrow. So the clock started, and then I can just carry on with the next frame and add pawns and so on.
5, 7.
So this is very simple. And you may wonder what the red button is for in this case. If you need to go to the menu, I'll press the red button. That will take me to the menu, and you can do a lot of different functions, but I'm not going to cover them here. But you can see how I operate this menu by using the up and down arrow on this screen. So I can reset the whole match by navigating to this item and press enter to select. So I can confirm, so I use the down arrow and enter to confirm, and the match has been reset and everything has been reset to 0. So I'm ready to start the match again by starting the frame clock. You may wonder how I did it. So I'm going to show you what I need to make this work with the remote control. So I need to buy 2 things. One of them would be this keyring remote control that I was using. It cost me about $2 delivered from eBay. So this is very, very cheap. And I need the other item, which is the receiver. So I need those 2 things. This is the transmitter, and this is the receiver. This is basically a USB infrared receiver. And this receiver will cost you about $25, something like that. And it's expensive, but it's really worth it, because you can control the scoreboard from any infrared device with this little USB receiver. This is called the flirt receiver. So basically this is a universal programmable infrared receiver for your computer. So what I've done before I took this video is that I programmed this USB receiver so that it will match the code on this remote control so that they will work as a pair. And I'm going to show you how this is done. So let me close the scoreboard for now. After you purchase this Flirt universal USB receiver, you will need to download the software from their website, and then you install the software onto your computer. So you just install the software, then you plug this receiver onto your PC, and then it will recognize the USB receiver. Then you restart the computer, and then you are ready to program any of your infrared remote control with the scoreboard. And I'm going to show you after I got that installed and ready to go. Once you install the software for the USB receiver, you are ready to plug in this receiver to your computer. You see, this is the USB receiver. So I plug it into my computer, and I'm ready to program any of my infrared receiver at home. So in this case, I'll be using this remote control to act like a keyboard. So let's start programming. So go to the program menu and select Flirt. That's the USB receiver's software. So make sure that at the bottom right corner it says connected. That means this is connected to the USB receiver. And I need to program some keys so it acts like a keyboard. So what keys to program? I have an instruction here that tells you that's which keys to act like a 2 button, and which key should act like a 3 button, and which key should act like an M button and W button and Enter button, and so on. So there are only 7 buttons, so it should take me about 1 minute or 2 minutes to finish programming. It's just very simple. So we start off with like a virtual keyboard, so we can see all the keys available. So we go to the controllers menu, and we'll click the full keyboard option. So we are looking at a virtual keyboard with all the keys I need, or more than that. So I'll program the first button, which is the red button. So that should act like a M key. So I'll press the M key on this virtual keyboard and press the red button on my remote control, and it says recorded successfully. So I'm done. So the next button to program would be the up arrow button. So I have an up arrow button here, so I'll click the same button on the virtual keyboard here. So you see, this is the button I'm going to click. This is the up arrow. So now I'm going to press the up arrow button on my remote control. Now it says recorded successfully. The next button would be the down arrow. So I'll press the down arrow on the virtual keyboard, and I'll click the down arrow on my remote control, and it's successful. So the next button is the enter button, which is the mute button on my remote control. So I'll press the enter key on the virtual keyboard, and then I'll press the middle button on my remote control, and now it says successful. Now the next button is the 2 pawns button. So I'll press the 2 key on the virtual keyboard and press the left arrow on this remote and record it successfully. So now the next one would be the 3. That's the 3 button. So I want the right arrow button on my remote to behave like a 3 pawns button. So I press that, and it's recorded successfully. Now the last button I need to program is the winner's information screen, which is W. So I'll press the W on the virtual keyboard, then I'll press this bottom round button on my remote. Recorded successfully. Now I'm done. So this is now programmed. It's very simple. You only have to do it once. So now I close this interface, and now I'm ready to use this with my ProScore software. So I've just started ProScore and I'll enter the Billiards Scoreboard. And enter, enter. Now I'm at the scoreboard and I'm ready to start my first frame on a remote control. So to start the clock, I'll press the up arrow. So I'll press the up arrow key and now the clock is running. So to check if I can switch the player, I'll press the enter key on a remote. So I can switch the player. Let's try to add 2 pawns.
2.
Another 2, 3.
7, 10.
So it's working.
12.
So let's pick a winner. So I'll go to the W frame and to confirm the end of frame, I'll press the 3, so which is the right arrow. So it's done. 1 frame has been added to the winner of the previous frame. And I'm ready to start the next frame. And let's try the menu button. So that's the M, that's the red button on my remote. Yep, so I can scroll down. Let's say I'll reset the match. So enter and scroll down again, enter. It's done. So it only takes me like a minute or 2 just to program this remote control with the scoreboard. And you don't have to use this device. You can use any other device like my DVD player's remote. Anything that's infrared, you can basically program it so it can be used with the ProScore Scoreboard software. But I like this one because this is a key ring and it's small and I can put it with my keys, and it only has 7 buttons. It doesn't give you like 100 buttons or something. So it's pretty handy and it's very cheap. It's like $2 delivered. And but you need to know that this doesn't last, for many months. It's better if you buy a few spare ones, so that in case this breaks down like 2 months later or 3 months later, then you can have a replacement. There's one other important thing I forgot to mention before you start programming this device. This particular keyring remote comes with nothing, basically. You just, but it can control so many brands of TVs. And before you program with this USB receiver, you should initialize this remote control before you start programming with the USB receiver. And by saying that, it simply means you assign a random TV to this remote control. And to do that, it's very simple. You press the mute button, which is the center button, for about 10 seconds or 5 seconds. Just press and hold that button for a few seconds and release the finger. And that will assign some TV brand to this remote control. And then you're ready to program. If you don't do that, it doesn't get initialized, and the code that is sent to the receiver would not be very reliable. So I would say that you should always initialize this TV remote before you do anything like the programming. But for other TV or DVD remote controls, you don't have to initialize anything because that has been designed for a particular brand. So if you have any problems or you come across any questions about programming your remote control for the scoreboard, let me know and I'll try to answer as much or as soon as I can. Bye bye.